So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And George Floyd, King David, The Cosby Show, The Sun, Lithium. Am I just reciting a bunch of different things that have nothing to do with each other? I don't think so. I have a friend of mine who recently was involved in some kind of an altercation. Luckily for him, money seemed to be able to take care of this particular altercation. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time that he's been involved in some kind of altercation. And in thinking about that, I had a particular point of view of my friend in light of this latest episode. And by focusing on it, I had him pinned as a guy who gets into fights. And I didn't really have a very high opinion of him about that. And then I thought about it. And I thought, hey, remember, well, I actually had a conversation with him. And, well, before that, I got to thinking, people aren't just one thing. I remember there was a guy who used to pick on me at school. And I really, really didn't like him. Maybe you could go so far as to say I hated him. And then one day, I saw him helping this old lady across the street. I mean, what could be more perfect than that? Maybe if he was helping a woman to nurse her baby or something, I suppose. And thought, hey, yeah, clearly, this guy is not all bad. And it really, a very, very silly, I suppose, example of this. I was playing about it in my head, and I thought, if somebody is nice to everybody else and mean to you, who is he? What is that person? Is he nice or is he mean? And what I came up with was that that person is mean. If that's the only side that you see, then that is what that person is. And you, if they want to kill you, in that moment, that's what they are. They're someone who wants to kill you. They're not a nice person that everybody else loves. They want to kill you, and for you to be in a position later on where you can explain that, you have to do what you have to do. Maybe seriously hurt them, maybe kill them, maybe whatever. And then you can attend to everything else and explaining to other people the situation, blah, blah, blah. But in all of that, I remember listening to Candace Owens, where I felt she was in a situation where, okay, George Floyd has a bad past, maybe up to the moment where he had the police called on him. He wasn't doing something too great. He passed a counterfeit note to somebody to buy something, and that's why he had the police called on him. So she felt it was important to say that what happened to him was horrible, but she doesn't support him. And I think I already talked about it to an extent to say that there is a tradition amongst many people as to not to label the dead and say bad things about them, no matter what it might be, especially close to their death, to say that. So I thought it was not very useful of her to have to go through all the things that he may have done, he may or may not have done. Even if somebody's been convicted, the fact of the matter is you do not know for certain. That's why certain people don't want the death penalty, because things can be overturned, things can come to light, and apparently it is suggested by some people again that it is better that guilty people go free than an innocent man go to jail and have to suffer for that. Of course, the people who are certain of his guilt might not feel like that, but there have been people who have been certain of people's guilt only to realize that they misidentified people. I remember there's a story about that. Anyway, one of the things that Candace Owens said is, it's kind of unfortunate, it's sad. Why is it that black people put bad people on a pedestal and nobody else does that? You don't see anybody else putting bad people on a pedestal. And, at the time, the only person I could come up with for somebody who was a bad person that was being put on a pedestal was King David. And it depends on who you are. The Jewish king, King David, the guy who slayed Goliath. Maybe you don't know, and I don't know how people know, but they do, that King David saw this guy's wife. He lusted of her. I don't want to say he loved her, but he wanted her. He had her sexually, impregnated her. And the guy's out on the battlefield fighting for the kingdom. So in order to hide what happened, King David had the guy come back. He didn't want to come back. And he said, hey, go and spend some time with your wife so that maybe you'll have sex with her and you'll be confused as to who the father of this woman is. And we can forget this. That's what King David would have said to the guy, and of course to himself. Of course, if you do know the story, the guy didn't want to spend any time with his wife because his men were not able to spend any time with their wives and their families. So, I guess his wife would have told King David, hey, this guy, he doesn't want to be with me. So the jig might be up. So David had the guy sent to the toughest, most vicious, violent part of the battle so that he would die. And when he did die, he took the woman as his wife, and it's all good, right? Except it wasn't. Whoever wrote the story in the Bible, they know the truth. King David knew the truth. And yet, King David is one of the heroes of the Bible to now. I guess, he wept and cried and did all sorts of stuff, and God forgave him. And everybody still loves King David. I guess it's because he had the opportunity to, be nice again and ask God for forgiveness, that we still remember his name and we still hold it as something that's a good thing. And I guess that whole episode where he did that, and probably other things, we sweep it under the rug. He probably did other things, because if anything, that most of these stories that are revealed these days tell us is that people usually don't do a one-off. They're not a one and done, and that's it. It's the first time, last time, never happened. For all we know, Kevin Hart, that was not his first time cheating. And when he says that his wife looks at him like that, he probably realizes that it wasn't that he was caught this time and he came clean because of blackmail and stuff. She's just wondering how many other times he did that to her, and how many other times he probably did that to his first wife, maybe. He's not going to say that because he doesn't want that really to be discussed. And the thing is that George Floyd, allegedly, and maybe we can even say King David, allegedly, but I don't know, maybe he revealed it to whoever wrote the story. He was in a situation where nobody should have to go through that. And that's why people look at that for him. He was a guy in a bad situation who saw the death coming, and there was nothing that he could do about it, even though at that time he had done nothing to warrant his life being taken. And we can look at Bill Cosby. The Cosby Show was fantastic. And there's nothing that Bill Cosby could do later in life. And he did a lot of bad things that could or should mess with that legacy. And unfortunately, it does. It does. And, if it was in syndication, it's been pulled and will probably never be shown to anybody else again, except to say, look at this. Can you believe that this guy was a rapist? Multiple, dozens and dozens of women that he raped. That's not just what the Cosby Show was. It was fantastic. And that singer, I can't remember his name, but he came up with this song in the closet. A song that had this continuation that went on after, one part of the song after the other, after the other, after the other, and it's like fantastic. All the other things that he sang, fantastic songs. Nobody wants to listen to them anymore because, he was this guy who raped, and was it raped? I think it was statutory raped, and he had these women under a spell. And Harvey Weinstein, he, did some things that probably, well, not probably, they weren't right. But yeah, Harvey Weinstein was involved in a lot of movies that people have enjoyed. Fantastic movies that people loved. And like I said, he did some horrible things. He did things that were inexcusable. And his follow-up to those things, rather than stopping, was to get private investigators to go after the people who might tell other people about what he did, so that he could continue to do that. And for what? You can pay for sex. You can pay people for sex. Lots of people have paid people for sex, but he figured that he needed to get sex in this particular way. Or he needed actually to get sexual gratification in this particular way. Because I've heard from some people, and even I've heard from people that once they pay, they feel, they're no longer interested. It's the pursuit, it's the act of being able to force other people to do something where you have them. And that's another piece that I suppose that I want to do. But, we recognize the danger of things that are beneficial to us. We see them. The sun. The sun is responsible for all of the energy that we have. Not all, but most of the energy that we have on Earth. But the sun gives you skin cancer. The sun can give you a sunburn. The sun, can cause the earth to dry out and things to die. But we don't abandon the sun. We use it in a way that we know that can be useful. and we avoid the things that the sun does that are harmful. And I don't know what I'm saying. Should we enjoy Harvey Weinstein's movies? I think most people don't even know what he was involved in. And they might feel bad that if they did know, they might feel bad that, oh, these other actors and all these other people involved, and at least I don't have to look at his face. If there's a movie with his face in it, then, they want to see it. And for most people, they still adore and put King David in a place, even though King David did such a horrible thing. What he did, Harvey Weinstein didn't kill anybody. Bill Cosby didn't kill anybody. That singer, he didn't kill anybody. But, King David did kill someone. And we don't know what else he might have done. And it's funny, in some places, rape was supposed to be a capital crime. To me, it depends on the rape, But, I don't know. Am I saying that cancel culture is bad and da-da-da-da? I don't know that I'm saying that. I think sometimes maybe banishment is bad. Not bad, but is warranted. Maybe we should not be around the person, especially if they're not sorry for what they did and they want to continue doing what they were doing. But I don't know that we need to trash everything that the person would have done and perhaps not enjoy it. We don't need to go to tea parties or dinners or take pictures with this person or whatever. But maybe we can still enjoy the accomplishments that they have achieved. I don't know. Maybe I'll know sometime in the future. But I just wanted to put that out there. As well as, of course, all of America's founding fathers that Candace Owens seemed to ignore the fact that all of these people owned slaves, and that at that time when they were owning slaves, everybody knew that it wasn't a good thing to own slaves. There wasn't any confusion. I don't know this thing about we look back and judge people with the present. From Jesus' time, we knew that doing bad things to other people was not good. So, I don't know. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Think of yourself. And if you had something like this, if you'd want somebody to do that for you. Peace.